area as well. Players can score, one type of goal, and that's important. I think as a striker, he's scored different types of goals, and he's got that. Just going back to what Musa said about the way they set the team up. That's the only difference, and that's why I think
D-Day here in Nigeria and of course across the continent of Africa. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are against Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, as you love to call them. Everybody is ready, including the presidency, for what's going to happen less than 30-45 minutes away from now. Kelechi Iheanacho is starting from the bench, but the regulars are starting. We have two changes though. Samuel Chukwueze is coming back to the first 11. Of course, he came in for a cameo and people kind of liked him. Most importantly, his manager, Jose Pesero, loved what he did. So he's back starting this evening. But one man who was not available in the semi-finals and many persons who are weeping and wailing on social media is back. I'm talking about another person, but the man starting from the left back, Zaidu Sanusi, is back. The major first 11 that we've been used to since the beginning of the tournament is intact except for Moses Simon on the bench while Samuel Chukwueze is starting. Personally, I have this feeling about Samuel Chukwueze starting because he doesn't track back. He doesn't come to help the defense and the midfield when it comes to getting the ball. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Shegun Odora is my name. I have Abiodun Adewale here with me. We've been like the striking partners of this competition, except once in a while when the Samuel Chukwueze is coming. Abiodun, good evening.
Good evening. Of course, it's the big day, big night for Nigeria. It's been 11 years since we felt this way. And the FIFA just keeps getting colder. As kickoff
like
approaches, it's just a different kind of energy. I'm not sure any Nigerian has felt this way before. And of course, from what we saw in the semi-final, it's only natural that we raise our hopes this side. But I hope that we've all checked our BP before sitting down in front of our TVs.
I think it's also important to state that during the semi-finals, I counted about 7 persons that were reported dead. One deputy bossa somewhere in Kwara State, one former House of Reps member, a youth corps member. I mean, scattered across the country. I think he fails to underline the fact that many Nigerians are actually emotional when it comes to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But I think we should be careful. The game will be starting, like I said, by 9 p.m. West African time, Nigerian time. You have to be careful. Doctors have advised that women especially should keep their hypertensive husbands away from the television screen. After 2 hours or 3 hours maximum, there will be a winner. And you can check the scoreline. But to the first 11 very quickly now, Biodun.
All right.
Same of the same. Shemi Ajayi, Trist Ekong,
Calvin Bassey,
Bioimbo Wall, even though there's no light skin for Shemi Ajayi, of course, mimicking Leon Balogun now. On the right, there's Ola Aina, there's Zaidu Sanusi, there's Calvin Bassey, Frank the Tank Onyeka, Alex Iwobi, Lukman Ademola, Samuel Chukwueze, and the King of Africa, Victor Osimhen. Of course, the major boys for Ivory Coast are equally in the team. There's a Sergio Aurier, hasn't played much in this tournament. He's more like the Ahmed Musa, but he's starting tonight. Sergio Aurier is starting tonight. So I think they are trying to neutralize what goes down on the left. Of course, Sebastian Haller, they say is the most popular Ivorian player right there in Ivory Coast.
In second start of this?
Yeah, his picture, they said his picture is plastered all over everywhere in Ivory Coast. He's their most popular player. Of course, send them to the final after his goal in the semi-finals. And of course, the regulars, there's Adel, who was there in their 2015 winning AFCON team. Max Gradel. And of course, the regular boys, there's Fofana, who scored the first goal of the tournament. That beautiful goal.
Ever present throughout this tournament.
Ever present. I think he's even is in big contention for player of the tournament because of how massive he has been for Ivory Coast. Of course, they've sacked a coach. They have a new coach. There's a new ginger in that team right now. They're playing in front of their crowd. I hear the Nigerian fans in that stadium. It's just like salt inside rice. So it tells you that we don't have too many persons that will be cheering the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Well, salt inside rice, you still have to feel the effect when you taste it.
I guess.
So the tasting is in the 90 minutes. And even more, as the case may be.
Victor Osimhen, this is the first time he was not cheering the boys out during the ritual of the dancing and the celebration. He was at the back, more like he was, just thinking about what was supposed to happen in the final. What can we say about this game?
It's a defining night for the 22 players that will be starting, and of course, about 7 of them, 14 in total now, that will be on the bench. And history for the managers as well. An assistant manager touring interim coach for Ivory Coast, and Jose Peseiro on the verge of winning his first major silverware
ever
as a manager. So it's history on the cups for everyone that is involved in this game. So it makes a lot of sense that we are seeing this. Particularly, I mean, these two teams coming into the final, it's a big advert for African football. Ivory Coast, you might be saying they are lucky and all of that, but then when the hosts go as far as this in this tournament, you see the reflection in the communities, in the country itself that is hosting, in their fans, you see the reflection. So regardless of how they got into the final, they are there. They are there because they deserve
of course they do.
to be there. So they fought their way. And for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, no other team can be more deserving of making the finals. There were doubts before the tournament, but here we are on the verge of winning our 4th AFCON title and the first in 11 years. So it's very important. It's very massive. And of course, decision has been made about who is going to do whatever, and I hope those that got the shirts to start will make the impression that we need to make. And the Super Eagles are playing against not just the host this time, they are playing against the crowd, and they are playing against 11 players. So they have to do two things: silence the crowd and win the game.
Somebody said there was no belief in that team, or should I say there was no belief on the part of the fans up until the game against Cameroon. Of course, all the players that have spoken, Troost-Ekong, Victor Osimhen, almost everybody who has had the opportunity to stand in front of the microphone have said they wish the fans had supported them from the very beginning. But of course, you won't blame Nigerians. They were coming off
the body language
of
unimpressive
a very
results.
very terrible run of games. Run of games. But coming into the first game, they drew Equatorial Guinea. In the second game against Ivory Coast, we won thanks to a penalty off the boots of William Troost-Ekong. In the last encounter, we won as well against Guinea-Bissau. Then we moved on to Cameroon. We defeated Cameroon 2-0. From Cameroon, we moved to Angola 1-0. We moved to South Africa. But I think, like somebody said, the real belief began after we defeated Cameroon. And then people said, come on, let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Well,
let's go, boys.
As much as I will go with that, I think the defining moment was even in the semi-finals. Because I've never seen that kind of massive support since then. And a lot of things have changed since then. The narratives have changed since that game against South Africa. I've seen people who are even uninterested before the semi-finals, now interested in watching the finals. So it has boosted a lot of things.
So the semi-finals also brought death.
And it's only natural that people will feel the way they were. But I've heard the players also say the lack of belief that they were aware of was one of the things that propelled them. For someone like me, I was not too optimistic about their chances of winning. I knew they could win, but then I was not so optimistic. I was just like, okay, let me see them get out of the group stage first. Then from there, it didn't even matter to me what position they finished in the group. As long as they are out of the group stage, then let's take it one step at a time. So look at where they are.
People have been hailing President Mosepe, an outsider, a billionaire in Africa, the owner of Mamelodi Sundowns and the owner of several other businesses across Africa, stepping in and saying he wants to be CAF president. Look at what he has achieved with CAF. Increased the money to $7 million, about 9 billion naira. Look at the way he has been able to structure the whole thing. A controversy-less African Cup of Nations. VAR has been doing his job. The referees have been on point. The football has been technical and top-notch. The goalkeepers have been outstanding. The defenders have been brilliant. The attackers have been doing their duty. The fans have been enjoying the encounter. And he said 2 billion persons have been watching around the world. According to the last count, we have about 8 billion people in the world. And about 2 billion people, according to the CAF president now, have been watching. And I am sure tonight will be the climax. Tonight will be the zenith. Tonight will be the peak. Because this is the final. And what more can you wish for? The host nation with their crowd, with their tenacity, with their hunger, with their anger, with their fans, with their crowd, with their crew. And of course, the biggest country in Africa when it comes to online presence, Nigeria, will bring the struggle to you online. Offline, the host will be getting you the money. I mean, what a final for CAF.
I think for Motsepe and CAF, there's an area of football we've not been paying attention to in Africa. Maybe because he's a businessman, he's brought business back into African football. Not just the AFCON. He introduced the CAF Super League or something recently, and for just participating, you get $1 million.
Anybody got $1 million
for just playing for playing just a game. So he has brought in a lot of innovations when it comes to partnerships, sponsorships, and a lot of things that will inject funds into African football. So this is like PR for him.
Street PR.
A very good PR for him, and he was at the last press conference I held with journalists. He was reeling out the numbers, and that was everything you need to market yourself.
Yeah.
And good for him. On the pitch, the football has been very attractive.
Very.
I know, imagine if all the businesses were going on, but then the football wasn't still attractive. This is, in terms of goal scoring, this is the highest we've seen in the history of the Africa Cup of Nations. When it comes to officiating, VR has been superb. And even the officials themselves have been superb. So take technology away, the officials themselves have been performing.
Yeah.
So on the pitch and even off the pitch,
Yeah.
business has been going on off the pitch,
Yeah.
and the football has been very exciting.
All right, it's time for us to connect with our man on the streets. He's going to be giving you the feel of what is happening out there. Good evening to you, Olalekan Adetunji.
And where are you reporting to us from this night? Lekon, can you hear me?
Your goal isn't limited to securing the bag.
Can you hear
Hello,
me,
good
Lekon?
evening. Good evening, I can hear you, Shegun.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
One-stop shop.
Good evening, Damsi. Good evening, High Flyer. We are here live in Alimosho. And it's a pretty calm atmosphere. Optimism in the air, I can tell you. Yeah, of course, everybody knows it's going to be a tight game, a close game. The two teams that are in the final are in it to win it. But from what I've gathered so far, of course, everybody is still optimistic. Everybody is each and everyone I've spoken to believe that the eagle is not just going to fly tonight, but the eagle is going to soar. Of course, we are going to defeat the elephants of Cote d'Ivoire again. So we are here live in Alimosho, live and direct. Let me show you how it is here. Everybody pretty calm, pretty confident about the way everything has been. So I'm going to speak with one or two people and let them share their thoughts about tonight's game. Okay, can you hold on for me, please? Good evening, sir. Your name, sir?
My name is Abdul Fattah Salaudin.
All right, sir. Your thoughts about tonight's game?
It's a very fantastic game, and I think that we will win this night. So that's what I have to say.
What's your prediction, sir?
Well, it's a dangerous side because it's got Fofana, they got Kese, they got Ola, and dangerous players.
I understand.
Comparing what, a team that was almost out of the competition when the game started, and they came back stronger, and now they are in the final. The confidence, and every other thing, don't you think it's going to work for them?
No. They have my prediction is they will be win this night. Thus 2-0. 2-0.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for that. All right, kindly permit me to speak with somebody else. Just like Ivory, there's optimism, and he believes that the Super Eagles will sure that the Super Eagles will defeat the elephant of Cote d'Ivoire, irrespective of what is happening. All right, I'm going to speak with another person here now. Good evening, sir. Your name, sir?
My name is Kinidu.
All right, can you tell us your thoughts and your prediction about tonight's match?
My thoughts about this match. I'm wishing Nigeria to win this match. My prediction about this match is 2-0 against Ivory Coast.
2-0 against Ivory Coast. Fantastic. That means Bali is going to have another clean sheet, record another clean sheet tonight, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Who is likely goal scorers? Who is likely goal scorers?
About you people in the studio, just like I said earlier, there's optimism. People are confident that the Eagles are going to bring it home. When the tournament started, most people didn't really believe in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and you can't really blame them because of the previous matches and every other thing. But as the tournament progressed, the Eagles found their feet, the confidence, the tenacity, the rhythm, and every other thing, and they have raised the hope of Nigerians. And of course, with everything we've seen, we believe that by the time the final whistle is going to blow tonight, it's going to be the fourth AFCON trophy for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So from here, live here in Alimosho, we're saying it's going to be, the atmosphere is going to be green, white, green by the time the curtain drops tonight.
Thank you very much for your
Can you
report.
permit me to speak with somebody else? Just like there's optimism, and it's up. You know, he believed that the Super Eagles win two of the.
Thank you very much for your
Can you permit me to speak with somebody else? Studio, just like there's optimism, and it's up. You know, he believed that the Super Eagles win two of the.
Thank you very much for your report.
Can you permit me to speak with somebody else? Studio, just like there's optimism.
Thank you very much once
You
again.
know, he believed that the Super Eagles win two of the.
Thank you very much for your report. Thank you very much.
Optimism in the air. Of course, expected that Nigerians will be back in Nigeria. Obviously,
sentiment.
yeah, of course, 2-0. Many of them have two persons from that place have said the scoreline was going to end. Of course, we didn't eventually get to hear their likely goal scorers. But two persons saying 2-0. Do you think similar?
Of course, and not thinking similar, but that also drew my attention to one thing that Lekon pointed out immediately. The guy predicted that Mwabali might be keeping another clean sheet. So in 2 years, or in less than 2 years, this guy has gone from a goalkeeper in the Nigeria Nigeria Premier Football League to a South African-based goalkeeper to the first choice of the national team
Or the Super Eagles.
and arguably the best goalkeeper on the tournament as far as this competition is concerned.
Well, if he gets a clean sheet, it's going to be equal with Ron Williams.
Ron Williams, of course.
Who was fantastic against DRC. It was practically Ron Williams versus DRC in the losers final. And when it was penalty time, you know, penalties, Aaron Mokoena lost his penalty. After that, every other person scored. And you expected the last penalty kick, you know, the captain of DRC to put the ball behind the net, stand up Ron Williams, saved that game, went into sudden death. South Africa won. South Africa went home with something. So a good one for the guys there from South Africa. I think they did deserve something because they indeed gave us a very tough time. They had a better ball possession. They had lots of chances. They could have won it in the first half of extra time. They could have won it in the second half of extra time as well.
And even after 1-1 in 90 minutes,
exactly, they had the opportunity. Well. So I think the luck was on our side, and the God of soccer, if there's anything like that, was on our side on the day as well. Anyway, the encounter will be beginning in the next 8 minutes. Prediction, Biodun?
Oh, well, tough to pick, but then, as a Nigerian, all we want is a win. I'm afraid of a team that has lost against us in the group stages, that was almost eliminated from the competition and find its way in the final with about 60,000 fans roaring behind them. So I'm afraid of a kind of team like that. So I hope we will beat them, and I think the scoreline is going to be slim. So maybe 1-0 like we did it in the group stage. Okay. A win is a win.
Do you think we'll be getting into extra time?
I don't see us getting into extra time. It will be tough, but then I see some fine margins in the 90 minutes. I don't see this one dragging into extra time. But it's the final. It's anybody's game. But left to me, I don't want this to go into extra time. So I'm praying those fine margins come as quickly as they will in the first 90 minutes and we'll be done. But if it requires a Nigeria winning in extra time, I don't mind. Let's go to extra time.
All right, if this is a bonus, I think it is important for you out there to know that there was a video circulating on social media today where the famous Jose Mourinho was backing Nigeria because his friend, his bosom friend from childhood, they went to university together, they began coaching together, they've been friends together for many, many years. Jose Peseiro is our manager, and for that reason, he said it, you know, Jose Mourinho, he was very blatant about it. I'm supporting Nigeria because of my friend. My friend is their manager. Of course, reports had it some years ago that I was the one who recommended Jose Peseiro to the Nigerian Football Federation.
Interestingly, he has not spoken a word about Peseiro or Nigeria since then.
This is the first time. Success has many brothers. Even your friends will come out when you are successful. But they will come out. Funke will come out. Ade will come out. Mohamed will come out. Yusuf will come out. Chinedu will come out. Anyway, I hope that will be the situation tonight. Everybody will come out to represent Nigeria and to celebrate the Super Eagles of Nigeria after the referee blows his whistle, because I wanted to say 90 minutes, but we do not know what will happen. After the referee blows his whistle for the end of the game. Super Eagles of Nigeria versus Ivory Coast. I think I can equally say, let's do it again, Nigeria. My producers are going to be taking it away from us. We'll be back after the encounter. Don't go anywhere. Stay glued to your TV screens. Or if you cannot, well, put off your data and come back after the game is over.